deep in the heart of Texas, this is Drinkin Dynasty. And now, your hosts, Luke Wilson and Sweet Lou.
Thank you, voice from the heavens, the angels on our shoulders, or the angel. That was Billy M again from the Discord. We know him. Y'all love him. Welcome, everyone out there, to episode 16. Lou, can you believe it? Sweet 16.
Can't believe it, man, but I'm loving it, enjoying it, bro.
Sweet 16 with Sweet Lou, as always. How are we doing tonight, Lou? How's the heat down there? Is it hot as the devil down in Houston?
Oh, hot as hell, man. But, looking forward to drinking a beer, man, to help cool that down.
And cool down some of the heat on some of these hype boys early in training camp. We are getting the first crop of shorts and t-shirt hype is roaring in now on Twitter, and it's going to make people crazy. People are going to get crazy for Keandre Lambert-Smith. People are going to get crazy for these guys that are probably going to be on milk cartons in a few weeks. So, we got to pick out the ones that we think are somewhat real, somewhat actionable. Before that, though, Lou, let's talk about what we're doing, what we're drinking, and some NFL news. What are we doing tonight, and what are we drinking?
Look, tonight we are getting into NFC buy low, so we're trying to target players that have lost value within like a year's time frame. So we're going to dig into the NFC and go over some really good players or players that we believe in. Value hunting, yes, sir. Luke, as far as what I'm drinking, I was strolling around my local Total Wine, searching down the aisles.
Of course.
And you know what I happened to find? Bitter Sisters Winter's Bush. This is an Imperial Stout, and I'm about to get lit with you tonight because it's 9.26%. That's my type of shit right there. What I want to say to our audience is don't get bitter if trades are popping off around you. Luke and I are here to discuss NFC buy lows you can target that will have your league mates hiding in these bushes. Continue, Luke.
Nicely done. I'm a little embarrassed that all the way down in Houston, practically, 500,000 miles away, you were able to locate some Bitter Sisters beer because it's a little bit of a unicorn type beer to find in the wild. You got to know where to look.
Delicious, by the way.
I have really no Bitter Sisters beer tonight. I will soon, as we will talk about when we get to the outro. I am going back to a frequent flyer so far on my end of things. I'm going back to Deep Ellum IPA. I'm going with the Dream. Let me get that right. Get the Dreamcrusher.
Awesome.
Because, Lou, I'm not going to talk about these guys, but other people are talking about Treylon Burks and Kyle Pitts, two guys who have crushed a lot of dreams in dynasty football, in dynasty fantasy football in the last few years. Don't let these guys crush your dreams again, guys. Go crush a beer before you crush the accept button on a trade offer of Kyle Pitts. Come on, guys. Let's not do this to ourselves again. Let's have a drink, nice cold refreshment, and collect our thoughts. All right, Lou, take us into the news. What's the headline today? I think I know what it is.
I was in a work meeting earlier today, Luke. I saw an ESPN pop up on my phone saying that Justin Fields was carted off practice today. And props to you, sir. I also saw shortly after that Tyrod Taylor being picked up in a lot of my dynasty leagues that I share with you. So good job, sir. I was not able to act on that due to the meeting I was in. But the good news is, though, it seems like the injury isn't as serious as I first thought. It seems like it's a dislocated toe, and he should be ready to start week 1. Your thoughts on that injury?
It reminded me of 2 summers ago when Joe Burrow, maybe it was 3 summers ago, actually. It was either 2022 or 2023. Joe Burrow, it was the shot kind of heard around the world right at the start of training camp. He goes down with some sort of bad calf strain. Speculation ran amok for a solid 2-3 hours that day for sure. So this is our first one, our first false alarm of the season, and it's certainly not of the magnitude of what Joe Burrow's was a few years ago. It was a good solid scare. Had it been for real, personally, I know I've been banging the table for Breece Hall as hard as anybody. I would have had to dial him down a little bit in my projections, not a ton, but a little bit, because elite running quarterbacks, are very friendly to lead running backs historically in fantasy, and Breece Hall needs all the friendliness he can get. So that would not have been good. So again, it's a great point. It's a dislocated toe. It's not the big toe, I believe, So we think it's crisis averted. A dislocated toe can't help when it comes to running around for scrambling for extra yards. So it's definitely something we'll be keeping an eye on. But yeah, as soon as I hit add on Tyrod Taylor in a couple leagues, I was like, well, this is how I know that Justin Fields is going to be fine, because him being hurt would benefit me, and I'm just not that lucky. So he's fine, and I was right.
You want to dive into some of the boys that are getting hyped up in training camp? You want to pick out a guy?
Okay. Speaking of training camp, the beaches of Normandy are being stormed by hype. Now it's begun in earnest. It started a couple days ago with the Chargers, because the Chargers, this must just be a new Jim Harbaugh thing. The Chargers always come out storming. They did the first year with Harbaugh. We were seeing high flying everything for their offensive players in training camp last year, and they were all over the place 2 days ago. And now pretty much everybody's rolling. So we're seeing hype from the Cowboys. We're seeing it from the Patriots. We're seeing it all over. A lot of it's going to be dog shit. A lot of it's going to be like, hey, remember a few months ago when everyone was talking about that that Thomas Fadone guy from the New York Giants because he had that one catch? Whatever happened to that guy? That's what's going to happen for most of these. Lou, what's one that you think is real? What's one that you think might be real that you find encouraging for a guy's outlook going into 2025?
I want to start off saying, for right now, that dog shit is all we have, man. But we're about to get some real football soon. So I'm enjoying this news coming in.
All right, so with the first 24, 48 hours of training camp in the can, Lou, who is a player who you believe the buzz might actually be meaningful going into 2025?
So, Luke, a few episodes ago, I nicknamed the player Clifford Franklin, right? Mm-hmm. And I think if this hype keeps going, I'm going to have to remove that nickname. So Quentin Johnston, within 5 practices, has caught 5 touchdowns. He's going off in training camp. Okay. He's building chemistry with Justin Herbert, and Jim Harbaugh has been talking great about him, talking about his speed, agility, his strength. So he's somebody I'm going to keep an eye on and see what happens moving forward into preseason and the NFL season. So I'm excited about the news. What about you?
Yeah, Johnston's value is down quite a bit. The problem for me with guys like Johnston is that not only do we have to maybe not have been wrong about them, it means we also need to be wrong about somebody else. And then all of a sudden you're starting to get into like, okay, I need a lot of things to happen here for this to hit. We have Ladd McConkey pretty much locked into the slot, into that role for the Chargers, as much as we have any receiver in the NFL other than like Josh Downs. What are we saying here? Are we saying that Quentin Johnston is going to push him out of that role in some way? I don't think we're saying that. What about Trey Harris? Like, obviously, yeah, the Chargers are going to have 2 outside starting receivers, but like McConkey's just going to dominate the target pecking order so much. It makes me think of like the Detroit Lions, where Amon-Ra St. Brown spends a lot of time inside, but he's the number one. And even in an offense that likes to throw it a fair amount, like the Lions, although they're actually pretty run oriented, there's just not a need for both outside receivers to eat. Even until like middle part of last year, there was no outside receiver for the Detroit Lions that was relevant consistently in fantasy football. Jameson Williams now is finally starting to step up, and a lot of people are very high on him. So, I mean, I see it, but also, again, like I've said for several weeks, few months now, what do the Chargers want to do? Do they want to throw it as much as they did down the stretch last year? I don't think so. I don't think that's the plan. So we're saying that Quentin Johnston is potentially valuable if things don't go according to plan for the Chargers again in 2025. Okay, I can get behind that, but are you going to cross the street to go interact with that, to go get that on your roster right now? I agree, it's encouraging. It's good. Good press is better than bad press here for sure. And Trey Harris is not locked in yet. He's not, but I do feel like it's an uphill battle for him for sure.
Yeah, and he's not a player that I'm saying like go out and like break the bank on or anything. I'm just talking about his current value at the moment. It's worth a shot. One thing I will say about the Chargers, like I know that McConkey is the guy right at the moment, but I think with their run game, they're gonna do a lot of play action. And that kind of gets me excited about like what Quentin Johnston or somebody like Trey Harris can do and have like the big playability. And I think both of those guys have that type of talent. So this news got me definitely interested in seeing what they do moving forward.
There's so much new going on for the Chargers offensively. Trey Harris, obviously Mike Williams, RIP, didn't work out. But Oronde Gadsden has had a lot of buzz already. And that completely ignores the fact that Tyler Conklin is in town. He's actually like one of the more underrated pass catching tight ends in the league. Yeah. Najee Harris is no slouch as a receiving back. He's not going to fool anybody into thinking he's Alvin Kamara, but he can get out of his own way as a receiver. Yeah, there's a lot. The Keandre Lambert-Smith, who is a long shot, but he's made some plays already in training camp. They have restocked the cupboard in LA big time. All right, but no, Johnston. His touchdown prowess is legit. We care about touchdowns. Touchdowns good. All right, so for my guy, the buzz that to me, just in my gut, deep in my soul, feels like, okay, there might be something here. Kyle Williams. Kyle Williams has been steadily building buzz pretty much since he walked in the door. Even before, like, he was on the radar as like the favorite. Well, he was on the radar as the favorite off the radar receiver that could turn into a star or even a superstar among some like hardcore football nerds, analytics nerds. Hayden Winks from Underdog was big on him, for example. When the Pats open OTAs, Kyle Williams immediately starts making plays, turning heads, as they say, whatever, it's OTAs, big whoop. Now immediately starts getting eyes on him again as soon as training camp opens. Like, it's getting to be like there's too much smoke here. There's got to be something to this. Who is really in his way? Did Kayshon Boutte do anything to make us think this guy is going to be a problem for Kyle Williams if he can play? I would say no. Did Demario Douglas? That one is like, okay, Demario Douglas is a solid player. He is a holdover, though. This is not a Vrabel guy. Vrabel was not responsible for this guy coming in. Javon Baker, Jalen Polk, I don't think we have to spill any ink talking about them. Kendrick Bourne is still around. Vrabel likes vets. Bourne is still around. I think Bourne is probably gone at final cuts, if not sooner.
Yeah,
but he's still around. So. And then of course Diggs. But Diggs is we're talking. Just a couple episodes we were talking about Diggs. His rehab is amazing. The fact that he's back out there moving like he is already, especially at his age, having just torn his ACL, whatever it was, week 8 last season, is amazing. He is not going to be out there in week 1. Almost definitely. Like, there's no reason for it. There's no need to risk it. The Patriots are not defending, their division crown here. That's, they're punching up, not punching down. So Diggs is probably not going to be out there before week 5. Kyle Williams has everything on the table here. This is the opposite of like the Quentin Johnston argument for me, where it's like Quentin Johnston has real guys to push out of the way. Kyle Williams could be competing with Demario Douglas and Hunter Henry for targets in week 1. And Trevion Henderson. Yeah. That's a much different equation here. And we're very excited about Drake May. So Kyle Williams, obviously we've already been advocating for him a fair amount, but yeah, the noise here is getting too loud to ignore.
Big route tree and was friendly to a young quarterback. He's able to separate from a defender, man. So he's a guy that can get open for Drake May, and Drake May can kind of lock in on and make some plays. So I'm in on Kyle Williams with you. I love that.
And I'm sorry I got him in every league that we're in together. No, I'm not. Fuck you, Lou. All right. So
that being said, you ready to dive into the NFC?
That is the perfect lead-in. A little bit of salt. Lead-in to the NFC buy lows. Lou, who's batting leadoff?
Yeah, so we're going to start out with the NFC West, the San Francisco 49ers. And ¿sabes qué, Luke? I'm doing some Hispanic healing enchantments, right? I'm lighting a candle for my boy, Christian McCaffrey, right now on KTC running back 15. So let me go ahead and say that enchantment, man. Sana, colito de rana, que CMC no le pase nada. So what I want to let the listeners know that Drinkin Dynasty has your back, man. I'm going to be lighting that candle before Christian McCaffrey's games, man. He's going to be a player that if you're close to winning that championship, if you feel like you're on that cusp, I think he's an amazing buy target as value. He's being valued as a late first rounder at the moment. And he's a guy that honestly your league mates are going to be scared to play against because he can drop 20 points on you on any given week. There's not a lot of those players in the league that your opponents are just scared to play against because they know if they have a 10-point lead, 15-point lead, etc., they are not safe. This is a guy that could take your dynasty team over the hump and get you some cash by winning the championship. So I'm in on Christian McCaffrey, man.
Yeah, the argument pretty well makes itself. As long as it works, it should work out pretty big. Be honest, Lou, how much of this is a LeVar Ball style, I'm going to speak it into existence pick for you? Because, full disclosure, we got to disclose our campaign funding here, Lou. How badly do you personally need CMC to hit? in fantasy this year.
So let me start off by saying this.
Not bad.
I care about our listeners, so that's why I'm doing the whole Sana thing, right? But outside of that, I do have some CMC shares, man. So I am relying on him, but by me taking that risk, because you already know I paid a price for him.
True.
That lets you know I'm all in. So if this isn't something I'm just saying just to say, I'm buying into it.
You ain't whistling Dixie. You mean it, because you put.
I mean it.
Friggin' most of your draft class behind this pick for 2026. So, hey, 2025, 6, whatever it was. For me, so we bellyached a couple times about how hard the AFC was last week. I think the NFC was harder. I had at least 3 teams where I was like, God dang it, who am I going to pick? Starting right off with one of them where I was like, well, maybe I can beat. No, that doesn't make any sense. I'm just going to say, mention Davante Adams briefly, because I can imagine in leagues there being guys who are skittish because for the first time in really any kind of recent memory, Davante Adams is not necessarily the only guy. Like, he has been a target dominator everywhere since he first forms into becoming an NFL superstar back in like 2018 for Aaron Rodgers. This is new. The fact where he's like, I mean, he might out-target Puka if like Nakua gets banged up or something. But all things being equal, like Nakua's probably going to catch more balls. Barely. That's weird. That's a weird thing to think about, to say about, Davante Adams. So I could see, like, again, kind of like with CMC. If it's somebody who's not sure what they're doing, are they competing or are they not? If they're given any kind of markdown clearance pricing on Davante Adams, definitely go do that, because he's looking at 8-9 touchdowns, and for the price of whatever, mid-second in some cases, go do it. Just freaking go do it. But, that's going to be very, very case by case. I can't. His dynasty market overall is flat. It's static. And anybody who with any sense is going to be like, Davante Adams dominated Garrett Wilson almost out of the gym like freaking 8 months ago. I'm not afraid of Puka Nacua. Okay, yeah, fair point. Good point. Not going to get Davante for a discount off of somebody like that who comes back with that response. So, all right, well, I tried. I just wanted to ask. I'm going to say Blake Corum because these are the only guys. There's like, Stafford's price is flat, if not slightly up. Obviously, Nakua's up. Kyron is pretty much flat, up a little bit. So it's Corum just because, I mean, shit. Kyron could get hurt. He hasn't signed the contract yet. The Rams have traded away players abruptly plenty of times before, including running backs. Cam Akers, where the hell are you now, buddy? I don't know. So it's not going to happen. But it is Sean McVay. He's like, okay, I love you. You're the guy. Get the fuck out. So it has happened. So if that were to happen, obviously Blake Corum's price, value, whatever, would explode overnight. He would be presumably thrust at least into some sort of committee with Jarquez Hunter, if not be the lead back. So it's a long shot to be anything, because obviously they love Blake Corum so much that they turn around and go get Jarquez Hunter in this draft class. I was like, uh-oh, life support. But again, if somebody's looking to bail out, let them bail out onto your roster, because you never know.
Yeah, if you can get Blake Corum at a good price tag, but I am worried about Hunter, man. Like, if Kyron Williams was to go down, I'm not really sure who is going to get the most work, man. I like Blake Corum a lot coming out of college and getting drafted by the Rams, but when they picked up Hunter, I'm kind of questioning who's going to get the touches if something happens, man. But I know the Rams weren't an easy draw, man. So I appreciate the effort on that for sure.
McVay said all the right things about Blake Corum once upon a time. How much does that matter? Not a lot, but it's something. All right, Lou, who do you got?
I got. We're going to get into the Arizona Cardinals, and I listed Marvin Harrison Jr. KTC has him as wide receiver 11, and you're probably wondering, like, Lou, wide receiver 11? That's not a buy low. What I'm trying to say, though, is that right now he may be the cheapest he's ever going to be, because people were so hyped when he got drafted. And then the rookie season happened, which, again, was not a bad rookie season. It just wasn't a Neighbors or BTJ season. Yep.
Bingo.
There's a possibility that by 2026, if you're doing a startup draft, he might be a top 5 wide receiver. The issues are he didn't have chemistry with Kyler Murray last year. He was underutilized in that Cardinals offense. But they drafted him so high that has to be something they're working on this offseason, man. They have to get him involved in the offense.
Sure.
Like there's no way they're not working on that. There's no way him and Kyler Murray are not building on chemistry. He flashed last year. We saw things that I believe make me feel comfortable in picking him up in Dynasty. He flashed. Unfortunately, it just wasn't at the level that Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. is.
Right.
But if we're saying this is one of the greatest, college prospect wide receivers of all time, we can't just bail out on that after 1 year, right? So right now, he's not cheap, but if you're able to obtain him, go get him.
Yeah, like there's a fair amount of hand-wringing over him because, he gets majorly overshadowed by the insane arrivals of Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr., and, frankly, Ladd McConkey. Like, several receivers blew right by him.
As well.
It just makes him look bad. That there's no way around that. But we're talking about a guy who, as a rookie, still had 900 yards and 8 touchdowns. That doesn't sound too bad. That does not sound too bad.
Not at all.
The Cardinals were deeply uncreative, deeply unoriginal in how they used Marvin Harrison Jr. last year. They used him very linearly. They wanted him working down the field, on the sideline, very little pre-snap motion, no manufactured touches, no screens, no slant, very few slants, drags, whatever. Like they really pigeonholed him into a particular role. And Kyler's not that great of a downfield passer in recent years. Like, his passes have worked steadily shorter, into the shorter area of the field in recent years, moving away from where they deployed Marvin Harrison Jr. last year. I just did like a deep dive on slot versus out wide route percentages for the Fantasy Index website. Overwhelmingly, wide receivers in year 2 see a sharp uptick in their slot route percentage. Harrison Jr., he was under like 22%, I believe, which is very low. Any sort of uptick on that front is going to give him a boost in not just targets, but also catch percentage. He's going to catch more balls. And again, he caught a touchdown on every 8th catch last year. That's pretty good. Imagine if he catches 90 balls. That's going to be pretty good. So yeah, like, buy lows don't always have to be guys who are worth navel lint. If you're getting a discount, there's a discount on this guy right now. And it's all on the table. He could be the number 1 receiver, regardless of position, for the Cardinals by this time next year. He could blow by Trey McBride, guys. As much as we love McBride, let's not fool ourselves. Marvin Harrison Jr., it's no comparison who was the bigger deal coming out of college. McBride, won the tight end award, but Marvin Harrison Jr. is a fucking folk hero. So, yeah.
Can I ask you a question real quick?
Go for it.
Gun to your head. You're in a startup draft. Ladd McConkey or Marvin Harrison Jr.?
Marvin Harrison Jr.
Me too, but I think a lot of people are taking Ladd over him,
For sure.
But I'm with you on that, 100.
We'll have to make some time to talk about Ladd in an episode here in the near future. But tonight he's in the AFC. We're in the NFC tonight, bud. All right. May I
on to the Seattle Seahawks.
To the great Pacific Northwest, where I've spent a few days myself. As for the Seattle Seahawks, much easier draw than the Rams were for me. Can't say JSN. Kenneth Walker's market's actually flat, if not a little bit up. Weird. I'm going to say Sam Darnold because how often is a quarterback who's like, how old is Darnold? 27, 28? That's coming off of the season that he's coming off of, that just signed a $30 million a year deal, which is, for as far as multi-year, free agency deals or contract extensions go for quarterbacks these days, is cheap, is very cheap. It's less than Daniel Jones got per year a couple years ago. But how often do guys like this come along, coming off of the kind of season that Sam Darnold is coming off of, that see their value go in the tank like Darnold's has since week 16 of last year? Like, I get it. The Kevin O'Connell effect. Like, Sam Darnold's not for real. The Seahawks think he is. The Seahawks think he really could be. Oh, let me qualify. They're not sure. They didn't pay him like they were sure. They paid him like they were optimistic, though. Keep in mind, the Seahawks jettisoned Ryan Grubb after one so-so year as the offensive coordinator, said, you're done, and got rid of Geno Smith. This guy was the plan for them. They didn't trade Geno Smith away and then go figure it out later. Clint Kubiak comes to town. He handpicked this guy because they worked together in San Francisco in 2023, guys. It is not that complicated. The Seahawks believe in this guy. You can't just say, Kevin O'Connell. You have to say that Clint Kubiak and the Seahawks' offensive vision for themselves, for Sam Darnold, is wrong and cannot work, or that the offensive line is just too bad and it's gonna stomp out their hopes and dreams. Clint Kubiak, in his 1 year for the New Orleans Saints, with Derek Carr under center early on. They had a terrible offensive line in 2023. That offensive line was night and day different before everything goes off the rails for the Saints. Obviously, everything winds up going to complete shit for them. But before that happened, the offensive line had turned it around. It was working, okay? So Sam Darnold, I don't even know, what does Darnold cost right now? Yeah, October of last year, Darnold had climbed all the way to like the quarterback 20 in Dynasty. He's collapsed all the way back to QB 26. That's way back there. That's behind like Bryce Young. Sam Darnold is a better investment than Bryce Young at this point, guys. Yeah, you heard me. Sam Darnold is a better investment than Bryce Young. He's bigger. He has a stronger arm. He's a better runner. He's shown us above average level production in the last ever. Yeah, sorry. You can't hold the past against Sam Darnold forever, guys. What he's shown us recently was real. That was legitimate.
Yeah, and I know people think like, oh, he was playing for the Vikings and that offensive line and that team kind of protected him and made him look good. But I'm glad you brought up Kubiak, man. Like that's a name that I think should be respected in the NFL. I mean, hell, his dad made Matt Schaub look pretty good for a few years here. Kubiak is going to make sure the run game's going strong. And even though the offensive line isn't rated that great, his scheme is going to help protect Darnold because you have to respect the run game.
Yep.
That's going to help Darnold.
Yep.
So, yeah, I love that you brought that up. And he could be, if you need a quarterback in a super flex and you're looking for a buy low, that can be somebody to target. Sam Darnold, man.
Why not?
I like that you mentioned him.
Yeah.
We're going to the South, the dirty South. I'm going to start off with the Atlanta Falcons. And Luke, I'm going to need you to cover your ears, man. I had no other choices.
Lou.
So I listened to an interview from Michael Penix.
Lou.
Michael Penix was targeting the hell out of Kyle Pitts in practice. Tight end 12 on KTC. Are you okay before I continue? Are you good?
What's the Pedro Pascal thing? He gets a woman to molest him if he's having an anxiety attack. I need a woman to molest me. I'm having a panic attack. Oh.
Michael Penix is making it a point for people that interviewed him today to know that he will be targeting Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts is going to be going into his age 25 season. A tight end, I would say their prime is between age 25 to 27. Luke, would you agree with that? Give or take?
Say even later, yeah.
And maybe later. So last season, he played with hamstring issues. The year before, he played with Arthur Smith and Jonnu issues. And I think the Falcons are going to make it a point to get him involved in the offense. I'm not saying buy at a high price, but there's a lot of dynasty owners that want him off their team. If you can get him at a good enough value, or if you can get him as a throw-in in a trade, do it because it's possible. This guy is at the moment 24 years old, about to turn 25. He did flash his rookie season. I still believe there's something there. And I'm hoping Michael Penix and the Atlanta Falcons in 2025 can unlock it. I know you have a lot to say, Luke. I hope I didn't make you throw up. Go ahead.
I think I have internal bleeding. I feel faint. My blood pressure's dropped. Yep.
Quick, drink some beer.
Okay, beer. Thank you. Beer, my only friend. Lou ain't my goddamn friend. Lou, buddy.
What you got for me, man?
I'm not mad at you. Mm-hmm. I'm just disappointed. Disappointed because we're supposed to be better than the Joe Schmoes on the street who see one tweet, two tweets, and all of a sudden they're right back on the H. They're right back booting up again. Lou, we're trying to keep needles out of people's arms, man. Lou, tight end 7, 2021. Tight end 7, good. Tight end 33, but he was hurt. Tight end 14, he wasn't hurt. Tight end 15, he wasn't hurt enough. 17 games both last two years. I'm done. I am done with this. There is no tight end is not a barren hellscape like it was in 2023, Lou. It's not 2023, Lou. Joe Biden isn't wandering off like a Roomba at news conferences anymore. It's not happening. We're in a different time, Lou.
Listen, hold up. I'm not saying to have... Go ahead. I'm going to let you finish. Go ahead, but I'm going to say something.
If you're going to make a case for a player, there has to be a reason. And Michael Penix is not enough of one. Same head coach, same offensive coordinator, same team. It's all the same. All you can really say, because Michael Penix is left-handed, that's going to save Kyle Pitts, the same receivers. Drake London's not gone. Darnell Mooney is good. Ray McLeod is around. Your own boy, Nick Nash. What happened to Nick Nash, Lou? Which is it? You double-talking motherfucker. All right, I'm done. I had to get it out because you knew what was going to happen as soon as you made this pick. But
Man, I knew this would raise your blood pressure, bro. I knew it, man, and I went with it anyways. But I didn't have a choice, man. But
burned off my whole buzz just now. I'll have you know. I was getting one on. Pinche Santa Maria Maricon. All right, so are you done? You want to say anything else? Have you said enough?
What I wanted to say, Luke, before raising your blood pressure is I'm not telling you to have Kyle Pitts as your tight end one, you know?
It's weak, Lou. It's like Circus Lemonade. It's weak. All right, from the Falcons, and another bad take. Hopefully that was the last one tonight, guys. Over to Tampa Bay. Again, like the Rams, this is an offense that really punched above its weight just almost across the board last year. Obviously, Mayfield, 41 touchdowns. Superb. Who's really down here? Chris Godwin is down sharply in recent days on the news that he had this. Oh, by the way, he had a secret ankle surgery a couple months ago. Sorry, guys, we didn't tell you. Probably, whoops, our bad. And then obviously the Tampa Bay Buccaneers retro uniform reveal where it shows like his left ankle looking noticeably thicker than his right ankle. That wasn't great. A lot of people are cutting and running from Chris Godwin. I'm not going to jump on that ship because I'm a little nervous. I'm not going to say go get Chris Godwin right now. Hold on. And your boy Emeka Egbuka, okay? Speaking of training camp hype, obviously he's been getting his steady all through the summer. Got some more today. I'm going to go with Rachaad White because Rachaad White didn't do anything wrong, guys. You know what Rachaad White did wrong? He played on the same team that Bucky Irving arrived into the NFL on. That's all he did. He didn't allegedly, rumoredly try to bang Sean McVay's girlfriend like Cam Akers allegedly may have tried to do at one point. That was never confirmed, but that was the rumor that we had a lot of fun with in the server back in the day. It's like, oh, Cam Akers, that's what you get, trying to dog out that guy's girl. That was not smart. You never dog out the head coach's girl. Rachaad White didn't do that. Rachaad White, good Christian man. Rachaad White was the running back 7 or 8 in full PPR leagues in 2023. He was good. He wasn't terribly efficient, but he was good. Bucky Irving storms the castle out of nowhere, takes over this backfield. Who's to say Rachaad White doesn't punch his way back into this fight? Who's to say Rachaad White doesn't get traded to a team that needs him in the next few weeks? He's a good player. 6 foot, 214. He's not a speed demon, but he moves it at like 4.5. You know, for his size, that's plus athleticism. He's a plus receiver out of the backfield. There's a lot of teams that could use Rachaad White, and his market is down steeply. Like, I'd rather have him than Ramondre Stevenson, for sure. So, yeah, Rachaad White. He has a lot of scenarios to recovery here.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a player that the Bucs still utilize. Bucky Irving, I think, proved a lot last season, and he's going to be the main guy. But they're still going to include Rachaad White in the pass game and have him take some carries away from Bucky Irving. So, yeah, and if God forbid Bucky Irving goes down, I mean, I think Rachaad White is a plug-and-play backup running back.
I've heard rumor that they are also quite enamored of third-year man Sean Tucker, but obviously we'll see. All right, Lou, what's up in the Big Easy? Who you got?
So with the New Orleans Saints, I've been inflicted with an illness, Luke, and I've done a few.
I got a fever.
With you.
And the only prescription...
Fever, yeah, more cowbell, baby. Let's go.
You're talking to me all wrong. It's the wrong tone.
With you, especially, and there's just a certain point where Chris Olave keeps dropping, and he just seems like such a great value. I know we're scared, man. The concussions, the injury history, but he's had in his short NFL career 2 1,000-yard seasons. He's proven to us that he's a legitimate wide receiver. Olave has an amazing route tree, great hands, speed. He has the complete toolbox. The issue so far has been the ability to stay on the field. I'm taking the gamble on him, and I believe he will deliver a healthy season. And I know the Saints aren't exactly a sexy team right now, right? They got Show leading at quarterback, but somebody there has to be the wide receiver one. And there's nobody else, in my opinion, that can do it besides Chris Olave. He's a guy that I'm willing to take a shot on because I think his value is low. He's, I believe, age 24, 25 at the moment. He can easily increase that value by staying on the field. So he's a guy that I'm in on at the moment.
I broadly agree. I know a few episodes ago we had a Q&A episode and somebody hit us with a very tough question, Terry McLaurin or Chris Olave. And this is before the McLaurin contract dispute with the Commanders really started to bubble over like it has now. McLaurin is going all out. He realizes he's got more leverage than most players have in this situation. He's using it. But things are getting real testy on McLaurin. I agree. Like, what's the argument for Kyle Williams? It's that he's very good and that everything's on the table, everything's available to him in that offense. What about that statement is not true of Chris Olave here with the Saints? And Mike Vrabel, great head coach, good head coach at least, maybe not great, but good. Nobody's under the delusion that Mike Vrabel is good for offense for the fantasy prospects of New England Patriots. Kellen Moore for the 2022 Dallas Cowboys got 24 touchdowns out of Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott. That happened. Goes to LA, goes to the Chargers. That was a shit show. But he rehabbed his value last year with the Eagles. I mean, anybody's going to look good with the Eagles. Maybe Kellen Moore is good. Kellen Moore and Doug Nussmeier, his offensive, whatever, gimp. The Waylon Smithers to his Mr. Burns offensively. And maybe they run a tight ship. It's possible. If they do, it's got to be Chris Olave. Or maybe, you know who I like down there. I'm not saying Rashid Shaheed beats him flat out. I'm not saying Rashid Shaheed sweeps him. Hey, you laugh.
Come on, bro. You know Shaheed is no Olave, man. Come on.
Who was leading the team in receiving when Shaheed went down, Lou?
Pretty sure it's Olave, but go look.
Should we go look? All right, Shaheed, through week 5, 34 targets, 19 receptions, 338 yards, 17.8 yards per reception. Chris Olave, 275 yards receiving, Lou. Shaheed was cooking. I'm not saying that he can do it over 17 games, but Shaheed has been burdened by the fact that he's too good on special teams to have a full-time role on offense. He is in the contract year window now, though. If a guy is going to do like what Antonio Brown did once upon a time, because Antonio Brown was a punt returner for the Steelers coming out of college, he was too good to keep using that way. If Shaheed's going to do that, it's got to be now. It's time for him to make that push and force his way into being a full-time player on offense if he's going to do it. He had started to do it last year, Lou. Let's not fuck around here. He had started to do it. He was that good. He was that electric down the field that he was striking fear in the hearts of safeties and defensive coordinators. That happened. I'm not saying he's a problem for Chris Olave. He's another guy that we should care about at the very least. You could make an argument for Shaheed, I would say almost as readily as you could for Olave. But Olave is very good.
I like Shaheed, but he's no Olave. Let's be honest with that.
Olave did post the golden metric. He did crack 2.25 yards per route run as a rookie. Guys who do that are Jamar Chase caliber type of guys, typically. Is he worth going back to the well one more time on? Yes. He's not Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts, no. Chris Olave, sure. Why not? If you're feeling a little bit lucky.
You ready to go into the Carolina Panthers, Lou?
Let's head to Charlotte, Lou, to wrap up the NFC South. There's another one I struggle with. It's another one that I struggled with. I know you've already seen. I put down 2 names. I told myself as we came to air, I was going to go with my gut. I was going to walk with Christ on which one I actually talked out here. Mm-hmm. Xavier Legette. So it's going to be Xavier Legette.
Hold. I'm gonna put my cell phone on record. Continue, sir.
Xavier Legette. There's not a lot of conviction here, Lou. There's not. You know why? He wasn't very good last year. As you know, or I hope that you know, you have a fantasy football podcast. You should walk with the truth on occasion. He wasn't very good last year. Got outplayed by an undrafted guy from Holy fucking Cross. That's not great. Obviously, Panthers still want him to do something. They want him to be the guy. They want him to be the guy long term, ideally, because if he hits toward his ceiling, it's the Keon Coleman argument, which is like, yeah, he wasn't very good year 1. The tools, though. If he maximizes the physical tools, if he maximizes what we thought he could be last year, that's better for our offense long term than if we just let whatever Jalen Coker or Jimmy fucking Horn eat significant snaps for us. Because that, we're never going to win a Super Bowl doing that. That's the reason that I went with Xavier Legette. That's the only reason. Okay? His floor, Lou, you need to hear this because cards on the table. You made a big buy on Xavier Legette in a league last year. Luckily, it's a free league, but still, I saw it. Everybody saw it. The floor on Xavier Legette is in the cellar, my friend. It could be over for him in 8 months' time. I'm not kidding. He was that iffy as a rookie that if he does not fix it, if he does not put the drops away for good, or at least for 2025, he could be mothballed, my friend. He could be reading the phone book by November. He could be game day inactive.
You know what, Luke, though? Sometimes you have to take a gamble every now and then on upside. Legette has the size, the speed, the strength, man. And I believe he has the work ethic, too. And that trade you're talking about, I clearly won that trade. That trade was Joe Mixon and Amari Cooper, who he's not even on an NFL team at the moment.
You didn't know that at the time.
Xavier Legette and Ted McMillan, Luke. Tell me I didn't win that trade. Come on.
If I traded Aaron Hernandez for
We're going there. Okay.
Who was the backup running back for the Patriots back then? If I traded Aaron Hernandez for Kevin Falk in a league, and then the next day it's announced that Aaron Hernandez killed his buddy, did I really win that trade, Lou? Or did I get lucky as hell? Don't act like you knew Amari Cooper was going to be sitting on the couch in July of 2025, 9 months ago, Lou. Don't tell me that.
No matter what, that draft pick won me the trade, bro. No matter what.
Okay.
Let's not play around there.
Let's go with bad process yielding good results. That's what we like. All right, but circling back, the booze is starting to hit. We're losing it. We're losing the lead here. Right now, it feels tight in Carolina. The target pecking order. It feels tight. Adam Thielen is going to go away at some point. He was amazing for them last year. He's been amazing since he showed up in Carolina. He has. He's 34. He's going to be 35. He can't do this forever. He's a huge injury risk every single week from here on out of the rest of his NFL career. Huge injury risk. If he goes down, all of a sudden it goes from like, do we really need Xavier Legette to, well, we might be moving Tet McMillan inside to the slot more. We can't now. Okay, now we do need Legette. Never mind. You're good. Come back out. That's possible too. So it's not blinking red light problem here where it's like, add coolant. Engine's about to blow. This is not good. But engine's running a little hot. We just want to keep an eye on it. Engine's running a little hot.
I love that you finally said that out loud, and I'm just enjoying this moment. This was worth it, man. I love this.
Rico Dowdle is the better player right now. I almost went with Dowdle. He is the better player right now, Lou.
But you didn't.
All right, moving on. Moving on.
Let's move on to the NFC East. I'm going to start off with the Philadelphia Eagles. And wide receiver 14 on KTC, we got A.J. Brown. I've said in an episode several weeks back, a lot of dynasty players are ageist. His value is going down at the moment because he just hit age 28. But guess what? He still commands elite efficiency, elite target share, and volume. He will be producing next season, more than likely the season after that, and the season after that. So if there's a dynasty manager in your league that is ageist and sees that 28 next to A.J. Brown and wants to trade him, take advantage and get this dude on your team. Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown have chemistry together, and there's a real chance that even though they're a really strong running team, they might not want to run Saquon Barkley into the ground during the regular season, and they're going to want to utilize guys like A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, right? Sure. So he's a guy that I'm in on, and if you can get him at a good price and you're trying to compete for a championship, go get A.J. Brown.
There was a point last season, now it's hard to remember because the Eagles barnstormed their way to the Super Bowl, plowed their way through a very good Green Bay team, an extremely good Los Angeles Rams team, and the Washington Commanders to then go and completely blow the doors off of the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl. That wipes a lot of memory banks, like the Men in Black flashy thing from Once Upon a Time. Mm-hmm. There was a point last season where the Philadelphia Eagles offense was sputtering a little bit, and A.J. Brown was on the sideline reading a book. And that him reading that book got a lot of run on social media, all over the place. I heard a radio interview about it on friggin' NPR a couple months ago because of that shit. A.J. Brown is coming off of not just an elite target share of his passing game, not just one of the largest target shares in recent history. He is coming off of the single largest target share this decade of any wide receiver. Granted, the Philadelphia Eagles offense is not a pass volume buffet. They have a finite amount of it. They plow absolutely all of it through Devonta Smith and this guy. He's 28. He's attached to an elite offense, an elite quarterback, an elite running back. There is no reason that his market should be down. And you're right. I mean, when you put his name, I was like, what the fuck? You can't do that. I went and looked. His market is down. People are backing away from this guy. They're selling high. They're wanting to turn around and plow the A.J. Brown, whatever value gains into younger guys. A.J. Brown is going to be on championship teams this year, guys. It's that simple. That's a great pick. It's a great, common sense pick. Like that, Marvin Harrison Jr., if somebody's going to give you a discount on a guy that can be a guy who wins weeks for you, let's remember this is fantasy football, guys. It is. Let's go win. Is it commie time?
Yeah, let's do Washington.
To DC. This one was easy. It's Deebo Samuel, another South Carolina legend. A.J. Brown, Deebo Samuel, two of the biggest to come out of, I don't know what South Carolina is called. Let's call it the Gamecock State. The Gamecock State. So, Deebo Samuel, obviously, not in the same standing in the dynasty community as A.J. Brown. His market is down sharply for good reason. Everyone thinks he's maybe washed up, definitely too fat. So that's where people are at on Deebo Samuel right now.
He's thick. He's thick.
He got that thickness. He a thick boy with 2 C's, maybe 3 C's. I think we're overlooking something potentially noteworthy. I'm not going to say it's, a cheat code here, but it's noteworthy. Deebo Samuel played for the San Francisco 49ers before. I don't know if you know that, Lou. I don't know how serious you are about this fantasy football thing. Deebo Samuel, in his time for the San Francisco 49ers, drew a fair amount of work out of the slot because he's a weirdo. Like, he's not really a wide receiver. They would do lots of manufactured touches for him. They would get him the ball at the line of scrimmage, behind the line of scrimmage. That he was a goal line running back for a stretch there in whatever it was, 2021. Like, he's a weirdo, but he's never really been a slot receiver full time, or had a significant amount of just conventional volume out of the slot before. He might now, for the first time in his career, he might run just regular ass routes, drag routes, shit underneath, wide receiver screens. Sure, they're going to throw a lot of screens to Deebo Samuel for as long as he's healthy, but he's never played across from a receiver like Terry McLaurin, who, again, contract, we're hoping for the best, but things are pretty testy right now. He's never played across from a receiver like McLaurin, who will just post up on the left side of the field on the sideline against typically a team's number 1 cornerback, and he fucking stays there. There's a lot of work there's a lot of hay that Deebo Samuel can make out of being left alone to work the short middle underneath part of the field where he can take the ball, doesn't have to run real routes, doesn't have to track the ball over his shoulder, shit like that really kind of comes and goes for Deebo. He can just get the ball in space and go fucking work. That could be a real value in fantasy football this year. With Jayden Daniels in this offense? Are you kidding? That could fucking work. There is nobody else that is a real threat to him. I know we're kind of curious. We're Jalen Lane positive right now. He might return punts, and that's it this year. He might catch fucking 15 balls. Absolutely possible. Especially if Deebo Samuel is healthy and serious. This is it for Deebo. Like, he wants that ring. We all saw in 2023 when the Niners lost that Super Bowl to the Chiefs. We saw how crushed he was. I believe he wants that ring. He's closer to home now. Obviously, he makes his home in South Carolina. D.C. it's not quite a drive from South Carolina, but it's a short flight. He's a lot closer to home. Presumably he's happy, he's at peace, and he wants to go get that ring finally. He doesn't have one. So I think Deebo Samuel is going to see the most slot opportunities, conventional slot target opportunities of his career. I'm intrigued by that.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite players, man. And him working the slot, like, bro's not going to be scared to go down the middle. That safety's probably going to be scared to hit him once he gets that reception, right? I think he's a player that's hungry. He wants to win a ring. That Commanders' offense should be explosive. Hopefully, Terry McLaurin in that contract situation gets fixed. That way, Terry McLaurin could take a lot off Deebo Samuel's, man. But there's a lot of potential there, man. I mean, I don't think he's completely a washed player. And when a player is hungry, man, like that unlocks a lot of things, man. So
calling a fat wide receiver hungry is good. That's good humor. Quality writing, Lou, as always. So on to the Giants. Oh God, what are you gonna do here?
This is a guy that might be in the waiver wire, man. This I was gonna do a dart throw on this. Okay, so I'm gonna discuss Jalin Hyatt. And the reason I'm going to discuss Jalin Hyatt, I know, Luke, I see the face.
Okay.
But Mr. Unlimited has been hyping up Jalin Hyatt since he got to New York, saying that he has amazing work ethic, wants to be great, ability to catch in contested situations, and they've been working out together. I'm not saying to go spend a lot on this guy, but if he's in your waiver wire and you have the space to add him to your team, add him and see what happens early on in the season. Because one thing Russell Wilson has been good at is the deep ball.
True.
Jalin Hyatt has that kind of skill. The other thing I liked when I was doing some research on Jalin Hyatt is that he's bulked up. I think he went from like 175 to 194 pounds. So he's added quite a bit of muscle and mass that should help him be more successful. I think this guy is ready to put in the work, and I'm kind of curious to see what happens. There's some guys in the Giants wide receiver group, like we have Wan'Dale Robinson, we have Slayton. It is possible that a guy that Hyatt passes both of those dudes up. I think Slayton's a very talented wide receiver, but I'm curious to see the potential in Hyatt and what he does in 2025.
I mean, it's the Giants. So you had to pick somebody, and Hyatt had some, he went back-to-back with Cedric Tillman in the third round of the NFL draft in 2023. They were quite the 1-2 punch at the University of Tennessee for a time. He had some hype. I mean, he went in the first 2 rounds of rookie drafts a couple years ago, pretty consistently. Mm-hmm. Not the first 2 rounds, the late second round. He went the late second round of a lot of rookie drafts a couple years ago. So, yeah. They did re-sign Slayton. That was kind of... Here's the thing. Obviously, Malik Neighbors is a world eater. Obviously, he's going to eat. The record that A.J. Brown holds for this decade, target share by a wide receiver, Neighbors is going to break it this year. There's just... Unless he gets hurt. So, and then Wan'Dale Robinson. Lou, I was messing around earlier. I inadvertently looked at Wan'Dale Robinson's stats, even though, oh, God, I don't want to see that shit. Oh, please put it away. But I looked. He had more targets last year. Lou, are you ready for this? Sit down. Are you sitting? Or are you just very short?
I'm sitting. Okay. What you got for me?
Wan'Dale Robinson had more targets in 2024 than Jackson, Smith, and Jigba.
What?
Isn't that not the craziest shit you've heard all year?
That's crazy. So I will say this though. I knew he was targeted a lot. I didn't know he was targeted more than Jackson Smith and the Jigba, but he wasn't efficient in it. So I feel like the Giants need to look for something else. I think Slayton is more talented than Wan'Dale, right? I'm curious what this young guy Hyatt can do. And if Russell Wilson likes him, they've been working out together.
Maybe.
Let's see.
It's a very long shot. It's got to be one deep league. It's got to be a 28-man bench like we're rocking in our dynasty leagues. But he has some talent. I'll allow it. All right, for me, it's on to Dallas, and it's real easy. It's George Pickens, and it's George Pickens by a lot.
Let's go.
I'm not going to waste a lot of time talking about this. I've already been banging the drum for this guy morning, noon, and night. I'm here in Dallas, Lou. I am paying attention to what is going on with these Cowboys because the Cowboys are doing something weird. They are hiring a head coach. They brought in Brian Schottenheimer, who had never coached a fucking lemonade stand, and he's now the head man. And if it went bad, the Cowboys were going to get raked for it. It's going to work. Like this was the right thing for them to do. The 2025 Dallas Cowboys could not tell you what the 2024 Dallas Cowboys record was. They couldn't. They are a new team, period. And a huge part of it is like George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb are like fucking Starsky and Hutch in training camp practices right now. Dude, they're vibing, okay? Pickens knows where he's at. He knows he has no contract beyond 2025. Okay, is he maybe a diva? Does he have possibly early onset CTE ESPN? Maybe. He's no dummy though. He knows this is the money year and he needs to go get it. And lucky for him, he's not a Steeler, where that was going to be a pain in the ass like it's been the last fucking 3 years for him. Where despite him showing over and over again tons of indications that he is that dude. He is Himothy. He got that dog. They were just like, but you don't run block 5 seconds past the whistle, so you're not a Steeler. Like, bullshit. I don't care about it's fantasy football, as in not.
There was
reality.
some pretty bad run blocking misses. I will say that, but continue. I'm with you.
He got killed for that. If your league has run blocking scoring, then sure, take George Pickens off your fucking draft board. George Pickens is a monster, Lou. I'm done fucking around here. He is a monster, and he's gonna fucking prove it this year, okay? I believe in that more than I believe in Jesus, okay? It is Pickens. He is going to eat. It is that simple. Go get him if you somehow still can. Done. Mike, fucking drop.
You know this about me. Like, I'm really high on Dak Prescott in 2025, right? George Pickens has never played with a wide receiver like CeeDee Lamb. I am excited to see what they do in this offense, man. Like, I have a coworker of mine who I love. Her name's Carol. She's a huge Dallas Cowboys fan, man, and she is so excited. Oh, nice. So excited about George Pickens, man. So George Pickens is a great buy low at the moment, man. He's gonna blow up, I think, in 2025 for sure.
I don't know if he even fully counts as a buy low because his market's not down significantly, but he's a buy. God damn it. Dak Prescott is probably going to lead the NFC in passing. It's that, guys. It's that. Dak Prescott's gonna throw for 4,600 yards. You do the math. How much can CeeDee Lamb eat? 1,700? 1,800? George Pickens could go out and get 1,400 yards and not lead the Cowboys in receiving. That's high end. He's probably not going to hit 1,400. But he's going to hit 1,200, though. I'm pretty sure. Go get him. Anyway, on to
the North.
The North.
I
knew it was one of those directions.
The next team, the Minnesota Vikings. For my buy low, I put down TJ Hockenson. So let's discuss TJ Hockenson, man. He tore his ACL and MCL in 2023.
Late in the year.
He missed 8, in December, I believe.
Yep.
He missed 8 weeks in 2024. I don't hold 2024 against him, man. He was just trying to get things back on track, right? Jordan Addison is at risk of being suspended. TJ Hockenson could legit be the number 2 target in that Minnesota offense at the beginning of the season. And he's already proven that he's capable of doing this. I believe in 2023, I don't have the numbers next to me, but I think he had like 95 receptions, right?
Sounds right.
This guy is proven, and he's a year removed from a serious injury. I am high on TJ Hockenson. I know, guys, I know. A lot of rookie tight ends came in. It was a big-time rookie tight end class. We have Loveland. We have Warren. We have other guys like Arroyo, etc., right? TJ Hockenson on KTC, I think, is listed at around like tight end 12, if I'm not mistaken. He's a good buy at the moment. He's a guy that can definitely outproduce. I say this often, but I believe it. I mean, he can be a top 5 tight end. He really can. He can be an easy target for somebody like JJ McCarthy to look for. He's big, he's strong, he can get the job done. So if you need a tight end, go after this guy.
Absolutely in agreement. Like, his market is down for no particular reason. It's just that happens to a couple guys a year. What's the reason here? He's in an elite offense. He has a huge contract. He is also a cap casualty candidate in 2026, which that doesn't sound great, but what does that mean? It means he's money motivated. He's effectively in a contract year because, if the Vikings were to, then they're almost definitely not going to do it. But if they were to release him in the spring, there's like $9 million in potential cap savings for them. And, the GM, Quessy, was brought in to fix the cap. He's supposed to be a cap guru. So he's always going to be looking at, how am I going to get my cap healthier for the long run? But anyway, I digress. Hockenson's good. The offense is great. And there's plenty of work to go around here. The only, obviously, JJ McCarthy, what if he doesn't throw for 4,000 yards? Okay, I'm not going to say that Hockenson doesn't have some risk. There's risk that you might not get killer value for him, but his floor is so high as long as he's healthy. Like, it's not going to be a bad deal, especially if you need tight end. There's teams out there that are sitting on like a tight end room of like Dalton Schultz and Isaiah Likely. There is no reason for you to not be going and making offers for guys like Mark Andrews and TJ Hockenson. It's that simple.
Exactly. And Luke, I'm going to correct something. He's actually listed as tight end 7, even though his value is down. But you can get him for like an early 2026 second. So if you're in need of a tight end, this is a guy that I really think can produce for your team. I wouldn't mind having him as my starting tight end.
I'm going to put you on the spot. I know it's the NFC episode, but I'm going to put you on the spot here. I advocated hard for a tight end to open our AFC version of this show last week. Mark Andrews and TJ Hockenson were both on the block for approximately the same price. Maybe not exactly the same, but approximately the same price in a league where you had to have a tight end immediately. Ooh. Who would you rather trade for? Tough.
At the price, I think I want Mark Andrews just because I know the connection with him and Lamar. Like, I don't think that's going anywhere. I think Mark Andrews is going to be on a mission in 2025. I think he thinks about that drop touchdown pass on a regular basis, and he's going to come out to fucking wreck shop, man, in all honesty. But I would love to have either or.
I agree. So. I genuinely agree. Yeah. I'm surprised. I thought you were going to say Hockenson. I mean, I might say Hockenson, but no, both are good. All right. So from the Vikings to, this one, up to Detroit. So again, the Rams, who else was it? The Buccaneers, another offense where it's like, buy low? There's nothing here to buy low. This is real estate in fucking Malibu. The price only goes one way, up. So we looked around. You and I both looked around like, who the fuck could we even buy low here? Jared Goff's market is down for some reason. It's down for some reason. I don't know why.
Put some respect on his name.
I guess because Ben Johnson leaves. And that's valid. That's valid. Ben Johnson did leave. You don't want offensive coordinator turnover when the offense is elite, so that's not great. He is due for touchdown regression. That's also true. He is also making a shitload of money, and the Lions are completely committed to him. I thought 2 years ago, for sure, like by now, the Lions would be pulling up stakes on Jared Goff. I was wrong. I was wrong about that. I was wrong about this guy. Jared Goff, he's the glue of a superflex team in Dynasty. In one quarterback, Jared Goff, I mean, who gives a shit? But in superflex leagues, which is kind of more what we're oriented toward here, that's more where our economy kind of defaults to. Guys like him are the glue. The Geno Smiths, the Jared Goffs, like they're not a threat to finish top 5 at the position, but they're in Superflex. Jared Goff is one of the best, if not the best, QB2 that you can start in a given week. Hopefully he's not your QB1, but if he's your QB2, you're playing at an advantage every single week. That has value. So yeah, Goff can be had for like a late first. There are very few circumstances where if you are quarterback poor, you shouldn't be making that trade. And for some reason, his value is down. Even as Jameson Williams' stock is to the moon. That doesn't make sense. Which is it, guys? We can't say Jameson Williams' stock is up and Jared Goff's is down unless, what are we saying? Amon-Ra St. Brown is in trouble? Jahmyr Gibbs is in trouble? There is some real economy contradiction, economy dissonance in Dynasty right now, Goff versus Jameson Williams. They are correlated to an extent, guys. Why is Goff down? If Jameson Williams is to the moon, then Goff should at least be stable. Goff is a value right now.
Yeah, I love it. Put some respect on his name. Detroit loves that man. When that trade first happened, I thought he was going to just kind of sink. And what he has done has been amazing. Amazing. So as a quarterback, too, you feel confident. He has such good weapons on that Detroit offense. Gibbs, like you mentioned, Amon-Ra, J-Mo.
And obviously Frank Ragnow, the longtime anchor center retiring does hurt. I would argue that the center retiring hurts the run game more, though. What does that mean? Does that not push the ball into the air more? There's just not a super legitimate case for a Jared Goff collapse. Touchdown regression? Sure, but collapse? No. So yeah, Goff.
I like it. I'm going to take us to Green Bay and discuss the Packers. And when I first got this task, I wanted to say Romeo Doubs. However, I switched it to the wide receiver 42, Jayden Reed. And the reason I did that, I think there's real upside here. I'm going to talk about Jordan Love real quick. Jordan Love suffered a MCL sprain last season. And what that MCL sprain did, it limited his mobility and it also hurt his accuracy. So what the Packers did when that happened is they started doing 2 wide receiver sets, heavier tight end sets, and started pounding the rock with Josh Jacobs, right? I think what they're going to try to do next season is include Jayden Reed more in the slot. I believe they're going to start off with Romeo Doubs, Golden, and Reed. And I think Reed working the slot is going to get a lot of opportunity to be successful because now Jordan Love is healthy. Reed flashed not last year, but the year before. And I think there's something to be said about that, right? Unfortunately, people aren't happy about what he produced last season, but the Packers were so run heavy last year. I think the offense is going to open up this season. I think Jordan Love is going to prove that he is a legitimate quarterback and do some things with that offense, man. So I think Jayden Reed is a great buy low at the moment. What do you feel about that?
Okay, so we often agree, Lou. We agree with a lot of each other's takes because we tend to see things from a similar slant, similar perspective. But this is not, a backslapper exercise. This is not an exercise where we're just seeing how hard and how often we can agree with each other. When we disagree with each other, we push back. I think you're wrong about Jayden Reed. I think you're deeply wrong about Jayden Reed potentially. So Jayden Reed started hot last year actually against the opener against the Eagles in Brazil. Hot as shit. He housed a short reception, took it to the house. Jayden Reed had 138 and a touchdown in the opener. Week 4 against the Vikings, 139 and a touchdown as they frantically tried to come back as the Vikings came into Green Bay and blew their doors off. He had 113 yards in Week 9 against the Lions. After the bye, Jayden Reed vanished. He was on the field for barely starter snaps down the stretch. He doesn't top 80 yards again all season after Week 9. Jayden Reed, among receivers that saw at least 35 targets last year, far and away led the league in drop rate. He dropped 15% of his targets last year. 15%. This guy ate over 70% of the slot routes for this offense last year, and he put the ball on the turf more than anybody. Jayden Reed, there's a reason Jayden Reed took an issue with the Matthew Golden selection, because he knows he did not answer the call last year at all. He took the Matthew Golden pick personally, and he should have, because that was aimed at him, period. Jayden Reed has to fix the drops now, this week, in training camp. There better not be a fucking ball hit the grass that was thrown at him, or he is in a world of hurt. Lou, I'm gonna tell Jayden Reed owners out there, never mind if you want to trade for him, go trade for him if you want to. If you own him, there's a scenario where Jayden Reed is out of this offense by the end of the season. I'm not kidding. They have guys. Christian Watson will be back at some point. He's not a direct threat to Jayden Reed, but if Matthew Golden is for real and Christian Watson comes back healthy, Jayden Reed could be on special teams. That's absolutely possible. So be very careful with Jayden Reed, guys. Things could go wrong.
So really good points, right? But I think moving into this season, they're going to run a lot more 3 wide receiver sets, which they went away from last year. That's going to mean Jayden Reed's on the field more. He's a gadget player. He moves a lot in motion. I think with 3 wide receiver sets, it's going to create a lot more opportunity for him to stay on the field and make plays. And he is a big playmaker, Luke. I know maybe he had some issues with drop last year, but he is a playmaker and can get the job done, man. So if he works on that drop rate, I see potential 100%.
The thing is that they already have a guy at receiver who's talented but drops the ball, Dontavian Wicks. You can stomach that from a guy who plays mostly outside. You can't from a guy who can only play inside. That's the thing. Is if you're a guy who is who is borderline slot only, and certainly Jayden Reed, unless he's motioning outside before the snap or at the snap, he's going to be taking almost all of his routes from the inside. You can't have bad hands in there. That's just not a thing. If you are, then yeah, you really are a gadget player, as opposed to a starter who sometimes has manufactured touches like a prime Deebo Samuel. He is on notice. He is on notice here for sure. He has to get it together. I don't know if he will or not. He was not good last year, guys. Not good enough. But I see it. I see the case for it. And certainly with Matthew Golden in the fray, his price is also down. So, hey, if you're a believer, you're a believer. It could work out. I'm not saying it couldn't work out. I'm saying be careful. Can I close us out?
Let's go to the Bears, man. Close us out.
Chicago, which is where Jayden Reed hails from. He grew up a Chicago Bears fan. Maybe that's why he dropped all those balls. He's a double agent.
He's trying to hook his team up.
Exactly. It's like, no. Semper Fi, do or die, Chicago Bears. All right, up to Chicago. I really didn't have to think about this one that long. It's DeAndre Swift. And we've already kind of talked about why. But, is he making a ton of money? No, but he's making $6 million this year for a running back. That is an above-average contract. Najee Harris is making $5 million. DeAndre Swift is making some money, not a ton. There's nobody else that's for real here, I don't think. I know Roschon Johnson, again, we're talking about what training camp buzz is bullshit. Roschon Johnson is going to get some heat this week, guys. Probably will continue to this training camp. We do not yet care. I don't think we're going to get to the point where we do care. DeAndre Swift is a good player in a potentially amazing offense. The ceiling for these Chicago Bears, they probably fixed the offensive line. What was a bottom 8 offensive line last year, in one offseason, they probably fixed it. They bring in the crown jewel head coach candidate of this cycle. It's not even close. Everybody wanted this guy. He really only was interested in this job, period. It is the Chicago Bears, but if this should work, and if it doesn't, then we know that it's never gonna, because Chicago Bears, because they're just that cursed. But this offense could wind up being the best one in the division. I'm not saying I think it's going to, but we have to be real. We have to really reckon with the fact that it is that talented. They have the best receivers in the division. In a division where the Vikings have Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, I don't care. The receiving options top to bottom of this offense are better than anybody else. Certainly better than Detroit. Obviously better than Green Bay. There's a lot. The ceiling is so high here that and DeAndre Swift could eat everything. He could see 240 touches in a top 5 offense. It's that simple. Kyle Monangai, who the fuck is that guy? You saw Eric Bieniemy said you're moving like an old man. He's yelling at him and he was right. I mean, Kyle Monangai is not fast. Roschon Johnson is not as fast as DeAndre Swift. He's not.
No.
Speed isn't everything, but DeAndre Swift could have 1,400 yards, and we'd look back and go like, God damn it, why didn't I see that? It was so obvious. He's that kind of guy, 100%.
I love it, man. Yeah, I'm in on DeAndre Swift this season, man. So he's behind a good offensive line. I think Ben Johnson definitely fixes that offense, and hopefully Caleb Williams takes that next step forward and proves that he was worthy of that draft pick, man.
Know that, Lou? Did you know that the Bears have never even had a 3,900-yard passer? Never even.
You know what's crazy? Like, going a little bit like off subject, but like I'm surprised Jay Cutler never got close.
Oh, he got close. I'm sure he threw for 3,600 at least once. But yeah, I mean, Smoking Jay, he just didn't give enough of a shit, and he really didn't. He really never did. All right, Lou, I think that's a wrap for us, bud.
That's a wrap, man.
How'd you feel? How'd you feel about your boys?
I feel good, man, and I'm so happy that you mentioned Xavier Legette. That made my whole fucking night. Like, it didn't matter what else we talked about. Like, the fact that you mentioned him as a buy low, I'm good.
He was the one I meant the least, by far, the one I had the least conviction on. But sure, if it makes you happy, it can't be that bad. All right, Lou. Well, if that's a wrap, then I think you know what that means. The next time I talk to you, you're going to be North End. You're going to be my neck of the woods. Lou's coming to Dallas, folks. We are going to be at Bitter Sisters this weekend, yucking it up, chopping it up with the locals. If somehow you're listening to, well, you're not going to be listening to this before Lou and I are physically there, because I'm not going to edit it that fast. But if you were there, if you're now listening back to this and you were there, hi. It was good to see you. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for asking that one question, thinking you were clever, trying to mess me up. Didn't appreciate that. We will see you all this Saturday around 7 o'clock at Bitter Sisters. Should be a lot of fun. We're going to learn a lot.
Will be.
We're going to learn how serious we are about this podcasting thing, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. Good beer, good barbecue, and fantasy football. Let's fucking go.
They said they're comping our beers, dude. We're going to get trashed.
Hell yeah.
We're going to get trashed. By the end, I'm going to say, you know what? Xavier Legette, 2 firsts. I'll give 2 firsts for him. I'm fucking gone. That's what's going to happen. I'm going to trade you 2 firsts for Xavier Legette this weekend, probably.
Let's do it. I'm down. I'll send that offer right now.
I'm going to offer it. You're going to say no. That's how drunk we're both going to be. Like, oh
shit.
I was drunk, but you were drunker. Okay. All right. Enough of this. I got to go. We got to go. We'll be back with you folks next week on the podcast. Or if you're here in Dallas and you're a brewery goer, possibly this weekend. So we'll see you when we see you. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening as always. We will see you next time.
Until next time, guys. Thank you.